Hello everyone, this is Namernan, and welcome to another video of me giving you a progress update on the climb to 1600. So currently, this account is in 1499, at least I believe so. But yeah, at the time of this video, this account is at 1499. I got it to 1500, I believe, like 4 or 5 days ago, and I haven't played since because I just wanted to make sure I could make the video. But yeah, I have the proof of me hitting it on my. I think I saved the replay of me hitting 1500, so I'll be able, and I think I'll be showing that today. But yeah, actually, I hit 1500. Thank goodness. It was not easy, especially since I was using Psychic for the most part, and it's the same Psychic team I've been using. I haven't used the Rock team at all since I got past 1400, because Rock is really hard to use, and I haven't found a Rock team that's, let's just say, cheesy enough, because at the moment, this team that I'm using, and I think I said this before in the previous video, is a team that primarily is focused on cheesing the opponent. Because Side Spam is very powerful against types that aren't ready for it. And types that are ready for it typically tend to lose really hard. Or beat this team really hard. Not to mention that a lot of the mons that I'm using are incredibly flawed. For example, Gardevoir is not super strong, but it's good in the right situations, like, for example, against the Swift Swimmers. Or the Sand Rushers. Indeedee, due to its speed, can't really KO anything. So it finds itself just dying really quickly, and it also tends to be a momentum sink unless it uses Healing Wish, but KOing your own Terrain Extender user early is unideal for a team that's supposed to be spamming Psychic moves, so yeah. Bronzong also is just very passive. If you don't get a Body Slam Paralysis, it feels really bad to use this thing. But it still serves way too many things. I'm still thinking of maybe replacing it with Jirachi with Balloon, but I don't think it'll accomplish the same thing or do the same thing. Because checking Excadrill and also just having Stealth Rock and being a wall in general is just so useful, and it all fits into one slot with Bronzong. Even though he doesn't excel at its role, it still does it well enough, and it's just really good roll compression. It's absurdly good roll compression, especially for this team specifically. But I'm gonna try and play around and see if there's any other archetypes I can use, because going to 1600 is not going to be easy. In fact, I do not think I will hit it next week. If I do, that'll be a miracle, but I think right now I will probably I'll try to aim for 1550. If I don't hit 1550, I'll probably make a different video or explain why. But yeah, it's going to be very difficult to get to 1600s because the players are going to be very good. They're all going to know my sets as well, because again, this is a cheese team. It's supposed to get one win, and then hopefully I don't see that person on the ladder again, but yeah. And yeah, I'm admitting it's a very cheesy team because this team isn't going to be winning tournaments or it's going to be very successful. I would say it's like Fire, but Fire just does the same thing really well. And sometimes there's not really a lot you can do against that type. But Psychic, you can do a lot if you know the sets. For example, Armor Rogue having Endure, that's just something you have to know. And if you know it has Endure, then it completely changes the way you approach KOing that mon. Like, instead of trying to hit it with the Choice Scarf Excadrill on Steel, you'll instead just switch out and let me look ridiculous. So, yeah. Stuff like that. And yeah, just in general, this team is just very, very cheesy. But yeah, enough of me talking about the cheese. Let me talk about what happened this climb. It's because I have 3 replays that I'll show you, but yeah, I'll tell you generally what happened. So, I did try using Rock initially, but I was not able to get a successful team working. Because higher up in the ladder, people will be using a lot more water, a lot more steel, and those matchups are very hard to win, so even with Garganackle and some decent playing around with Garganackle, it's still really hard to win those matchups. So in general, I just don't really think it's going to be worth trying to win with Rock, especially since it just hard loses to any type with Caesar, like Bug, for example. Losing to Bug is brutal because if you get webs on you, you can't get rid of them, and then Caesar and Lokix kind of just run through your entire team. It's really disgusting, but unfortunately, that is how it is. So I've been thinking about maybe using Ice in the future, or maybe even, because remember, I have to use low tier types, so I can't use anything higher. So I was thinking maybe Ice, or potentially even Grass, because I've seen some decent Grass teams pop up lately. So maybe I could use that. I don't know. But yeah. I'm not sure what I'll be doing to get to 1550. But we'll see. I definitely don't think I'm going to be using this team, though. I think I'll have to be using something else. But I'll let you guys know what happens. But yeah, the team is still basically the same. The only thing that really changed majorly was Gardevoir is now Jolly, or not Jolly, but plus speed nature instead of plus special attack nature. And plus speed nature is just to make sure I outspeed Barraskewda. Because even though Barraskewdas aren't supposed to be running Jolly, it's still better to just not get outsped in the event that it is, because this is ladder after all. Some people might just run Jolly, so yeah, it's just better to have the speed. But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that's changed. Sometimes I switch between Night Slash and Knockoff on Gallade, but that's it for that as well. But yeah, let's move on to those replays now. So let me just refresh this real quick. So the first replay I'll have is against Normal. Normal actually is a type that can actually deal with side spam pretty decently due to it has a Hisuian Zoroark who can mess up Gallade pretty bad, especially since I'm Choice Scarf and not a Assault Vest. And then Blissey kind of takes a majority of the Side Spam, because I don't really use Side Shock on this team. I instead use Expanding Force, and because I'm using Expanding Force, Blissey can actually wall it pretty well, but yeah. Anyway, we send in Hoopa. I play a game, yeah, so I had no idea if this was actually Ursaluna or if this was Hisuian Zoroark. Hisuian Zoroark actually would have been a fine lead here, is the issue. So I have no idea if it's actually Hisuian Zoroark or not. And if I switch out, I might potentially lose a Pokemon. And I also don't know which set he's running. He could be a physical set, he could be a special set. If I go into Indeedee and then lose Indeedee immediately, it's a really bad situation, but yeah, it was just not a great situation. But I end up losing Hoopa anyway, so it's even worse. But we do remove Ursaluna's Flame Orb, so that is very clutch. We get the rocks off. Yeah, Eltrag spitting facts. As I said before, Bronzong in this situation is just really not good, because I could try and stay in and try to get that paralysis off, but it's just not worth it. Expanding Force goes through. We know it's for sure Blissey, not only because of tankiness, but because it also uses heavy duty boots, and typically Zoroark does not use heavy duty boots. Now I go for a risky play here and decide to completely stifle the Blissey by giving it a Choice Scarf. I use the Expanding Force and remove the Terra Shell from him. I take the Natural Cure from Blissey and heal my Paralysis, but unfortunately it comes at the cost of giving him a Rapid Spin, but because I predicted the Rapid Spin, I now have +2 speed on my Armor. The Expanding Force does come through. I use Focus Blast to see if I kill, but I do not. Fortunately, he decides to use Seismic Toss. And now I get the KO Blissey. So that was actually really huge for me. Yeah, we see the Trick Room come through on Indeedee. I switch into Bronzong because Bronzong easily walls it. Heavy Slam comes through again, and this time it is Zoroark. He's Heavy Slam again because Bronzong is paralyzed, and also really slow, so it will always outspeed the Zoroark even in Trick Room. Here comes Terrapagos again. Amuro cannot come in again because I don't have Hazard Removal. I use Flamethrower, somehow managed to outspeed the NDD. The NDD likely was going for a Trick Room. I use Endure to waste a turn of Psychic Terrain. I'm not sure why I did that, but yeah, there we go. See the Flamethrower come through again, and we get another Expanding Force. Oh, it's because it's not a Porygon. Oh, that's why. I was actually not sure, because I knew it was a... Yeah, at the time I knew it was Hisuian Zoroark, but I wasn't sure if it had a physical move or not. If it was going to use a Bitter Malice or something like that, so I ended up just enduring just to check, and yeah, that's how we got there. But yeah, as you see, I managed to defeat this 1700s MRT player with, I'd say, a minor amount of luck, and also just a powerful, just showing the power of Psy Spam in general. But yeah, I didn't even use Gallade the entire time this match. That's how powerful Psy Spam just can be against a somewhat unprepared team. This team still is able to deal with it somewhat well, but yeah, I think losing the Flame Orb early hurt him significantly because it makes it very hard for him to KO Bronzong without the Flame Orb. And yeah, it was just, this matchup was just very annoying for him to deal with because I just constantly had, and I also just played somewhat well. Using Amarok on the Rapid Spin, for example, on his Terrapagos was really good. But yeah, it was just a very annoying match for this guy to play. But yeah, the power of this team is evident. Now granted, Normal isn't really a high tier type, in fact it's one of the types I can use in this challenge, but it is somewhat decent, and I do think that specifically Terrapagos is actually a really super strong mon that a lot of people aren't really paying attention to. That mon can be really, really dangerous in the right situation. So I think it is going to be worth looking into in the future. And I did start this challenge by using a normal team, but I just wasn't able to find something that really clicked with me. So I need to I think maybe I might use normal instead. Because normal is a pretty decent type to ladder with. Especially since fighting is on the fall off, so yeah. We'll move on to the next replay though, and I believe this is the replay that got me into the 1500s. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, let's just take a look. It's against Dark, very bad matchup. I do have two anti-Dark mons with Gallade and Gardevoir, so I do have some stuff that I can do, but it's still going to be very difficult because Tinglu is just a brutal mon for my team to deal with. And again, my entire team is centered around Psy Spam, and his entire team is immune to it. Unless these two use Protean, but yeah. It's going to be a really hard match. So let's see how I managed to play this. So the Intimidate comes through. Oh, and by the way, this is not my first time facing this guy. This is the second time I'm facing this guy, so I actually know a couple of his sets. But yeah. Oh, wait, actually, no, this was the first time. This is the first time, because I remember specifically the first time I faced him, I was surprised that the Incineroar actually knocked out my Indeedee. I thought Indeedee would survive, but he did not. But yeah, Sacred Sword does KO the Greninja. Me being in Psychic Terrain is actually incredibly helpful here. No, this is actually the second time. This is actually the second time. Because I remember the first time I lost to this guy because I struggled to get rid of his Grimmsnarl, and his Grimmsnarl just kept putting screens up, and it was very annoying for me to deal with. But yeah, I got a really good trick on him there, because I predicted that he was going to use either Nasty Plot or Agility, due to him being behind screens and thinking that, oh, he won't do enough damage to me. And he's right, I wouldn't do enough damage to him, that's why I use Trick. Alright, Tinglu gets the Stealth Rock off. I use Body Press. And the screens are now gone, and they can't come back up, which is very bad for his team, because now my Gardevoir can kind of just do whatever it wants. Fiery Wrath does come through. I fortunately do not get KO'd. And the Moonblast does get the KO, and I get a Berserk boost as well. Now, I think I kill off Gardevoir here, yep. Gardevoir gets KO'd. Now remember, this guy also knows my sets, so I would normally go Armor Rogue here and get the thing off, but I opted not to do that. Incineroar is now... I opt to not risk it all. I get the knockoff. I take the knockoff, actually. I could have ideally won right there with Gallade, but I didn't want to risk potentially losing him, because I wasn't sure how physically bulky the Incineroar was, and I was intimidated, so I wasn't entirely sure how that was going to go. I do take a lot of damage from Tingly, though. And yeah, at this point in the match, I'm like very scared, because I don't know what's going to happen. So I think what I end up doing, yeah, I go into Armor Rogue, and he clicks Knockoff, which KOs me. And now I'm at 100% HP, so I should just be able to KO his Incineroar, and there we go. Yeah, I was playing very cautiously around the Intimidate. I'm not sure if I ever managed to calc it, but yeah, it was very, very annoying to play around that. But yeah, this team is capable of dealing with Dark, but granted, I knew a lot of his sets beforehand, so I did know somewhat what I was getting into before facing him, so yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next replay, the final one. Oh, hold on a second. I think this is... I don't think this is the same replay. I'm pretty sure this is the first time I went against him, but let me just check. Yeah, here's the Incineroar. Yeah, no, this is... Oh, no, I think this might be the same one. No, this isn't the same one. This is a different one. This is a different one. Yeah, this is the one where Grimmsnarl stays up for a while. And I think I'm pretty sure I lose this, but I'm not sure. We'll see. But yeah, you can see, if this is the one that loses, you'll see, like, the weaknesses of this team. But yeah, the Ruination does come through, and Gallade dies very early, which is not good for me. Because now Gardevoir is my only salvation against his entire team. We do hit a crucial Focus Blast there. And I opt to go for another one instead of going for a Psychic because, well, he's immune to Psychic, and Thunderbolt he's immune to, and Knockoff isn't going to do a lot of damage, and he has a Reflect Up, so yeah, unideal. Yeah, I put in DD to prevent Grimmsnarl from clicking Thunder Wave on any of my mobs for a while. I end up going for the KO on my own in DD since I deem it unuseful. We see Incineroar come out. The Heavy Slam goes through because I was trying to KO Grimmsnarl. But yeah, Knockoff comes through on the Incineroar. I intimidate the Incineroar, but yeah, the Moonblast does come through. I stay in since I don't really have a better play. In comes Moltres Galar. Alright, Light Screen goes down, and Gardevoir is very bulky, so it actually will not take that much from that. Grimmsnarl comes through again. The Light Screen comes through. Now here comes the Thunder Wave. The Thunder Wave is going to be very obnoxious. Yeah, 2 turns, I get Thunder Waved. Or I get paralyzed. Incineroar, I believe, will just... Oh no, I actually do manage to outspeed it and get a little bit of chip off. But Hoopa... The Light Screen is down, and Hoopa is able to get the KO. So yeah, there's that. For some reason, it's not showing me getting to 1500. So I'm gonna go quickly comb through replays real quick and show you guys the one where I got 1500. But yeah, the summary of those matches is just I got very lucky with hitting Focus Blasts, but normally I don't hit them, so it's usually like a lot of losses. But yeah, let me just quickly get that replay for you. Okay, I finally found the replay. Sorry about that, but yeah, it was this one. And I think the reason I didn't show it was because it wasn't really a good showcase of what my team is capable of. But yeah, this is a very meta Dragon team, but you'll see why I wasn't showing it later. So yeah, he leads with Garchomp, I lead with Bronzong. Bronzong is just a very solid lead into Garchomp, since Garchomp can't really do anything, but the scary thing is he has Fire Fang. I was expecting it to be scale shot into Earthquake, but instead it was not. But I do the risky play and predict the scale shot here. Very, very risky what I did there, by the way, because he could have just used Fire Fang again, and I would have probably died. But yeah, Bronzong now gets KO'd, but I don't really need the Earthquake immunity anymore, because Garchomp is gone. I Encore the Archaludon to prevent rocks, and I opt to KO my Indeedee since I don't really see a better play. I maybe could have gone to Hoopa here, but I wasn't sure what he was going to do. But yeah, Armor Rug does come in. I do miss the Focus Blast, and he gets a Body Press off on there, instead of going for rocks. Go for another Focus Blast, and this one does connect. Kyurem comes through. I go for Expanding Force instead of Focus Blast. Focus Blast likely killed, but I didn't want to risk it again, because I was already pushing it way too much. But yeah, we do end up clicking Moonblast a couple of times. Raging Bolt can't use Thunderclap on me due to, you know, Thunderclap does do a ton of damage to me, but even with Life Orb, it's still not enough to KO my Gardevoir. Dragapult comes in. I'm scared that it has Sucker Punch, but it does not end up using it, and therefore the Choice Scarf does work out for me. And I end up barely not KOing his Latios, but Latios cannot KO my Hoopa from that HP, so we end up winning. But yeah, that is the replay that got me into the 1500s. So yeah, that has been my journey so far. What's not pictured is the tons and tons of losses I've also had, whether it be due to hacks or me not playing properly. Various reasons why I didn't win a lot. I still do have a positive win rate. Not a very good win rate, but a positive win rate nonetheless, playing on this account. So I am decently happy with that. And I think I did take a screenshot of it as well, but I think I'll be posting all the screenshots of peaks in another video. But yeah, that'll be it for this one. Hopefully next time I'll see you guys. It's going to be 1550s. If not, I'm probably going to end up doing a variety video of sorts. Variety in relation to Pokemon, of course. But yeah, very likely I might end up doing that instead. So yeah, without further ado, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.